The other day, I found myself aimlessly scrolling through the internet looking for something amusing to kill time with, when I stumbled upon an update for the Rings of Power Season 3. Apparently, they're filming it here in the UK, and it's expected to continue until the end of the year. Since shows like this tend to take an eternity in post-production, we probably won't see the new season until 2027. A full 3 years after the last one aired, and it's not the only series dragging its feet. Stranger Things' final season is slated for release in November, another 3-year gap. The Last of Us took 2 years between seasons, and if you're still holding out for Season 3, better get comfortable. It's not coming until 2027 either. All of this got me thinking, has modern TV kind of lost its edge? Not necessarily in terms of quality, though I could make a case there too, but the way it's being produced and released feels completely backwards now. Gone are the days when your favourite shows dropped new seasons annually, keeping you invested and excited. Back then, a season actually meant something. 20, sometimes even 24 episodes. Now, we're getting 8-episode events, or worse, 5-episode stretches that barely qualify as a season. And remember episodic storytelling, when each week brought something new. A fresh adventure, a weird twist, or a creative detour. Writers were allowed to take risks and explore oddball ideas. Now, everything's a slow crawl through a single overarching storyline. And eventually, it just gets dull. Worse, it turns into a chore. Miss one episode and you're lost. TV starts to feel like homework instead of entertainment. But beyond the boredom, there are deeper problems that I don't think studios fully understand. Problem 1. Momentum is dead back in the day. A 22-episode season released weekly would stretch across half the year. There was usually only a short break between seasons, so the show never really left the public's radar. Just as chatter about the last season faded, buzz for the new one would pick right up. That consistency kept fans hooked and engaged. Now, we wait 2, sometimes 3 years between seasons. That's enough time for entire world events to unfold, or for audiences to just move on. With so many distractions, people forget what happened in your show, lose interest, or find something else to binge. Even when they do return, the show wastes valuable time recapping everything, because no one remembers what the hell happened last time. Take House of the Dragon. Solid writing, great acting, beautiful production, even if it does lean a little heavy on dimly lit castles and map staring. Still, the 2-year gap between seasons absolutely killed the momentum. Audience numbers dropped by over 20% between seasons 1 and 2. And with season 3 still a year away, yeah, that's probably not going to help. Problem 2. The aging actor dilemma. Another issue, especially when young actors are involved, is how fast people age. Cast a bunch of kids at 11 or 12, and 3 years later, they look like they should be filing taxes. Stranger Things is a perfect example. The once plucky teen squad now looks like they're pushing 30, but they're still meant to be in high school. It's just awkward. The show premiered nearly a decade ago, and in that time, they've managed 5 seasons. And one of them still isn't out. If they had stuck to yearly releases, the entire series could have wrapped by 2021, and we wouldn't be pretending Millie Bobby Brown still passes for a teenager. Ironically, The Last of Us had the opposite problem. They cast Bella Ramsey, assuming she'd age up naturally to match a 5-year time jump. Turns out she barely aged at all, and still looks like a kid. That gamble did not pay off. Problem 3. Loss of episodic variety. What I really miss about old-school TV is the surprise of episodic storytelling. Every week brought something different. It kept things fresh, weird, and fun, even when it didn't totally land. Sure, sometimes it flopped. Usually when a lead actor tried their hand at directing or writing an episode they had no business touching, or when the writers ran out of steam and gave us a flashback montage. But even when it missed the mark, it was still charming. And if one episode didn't work, you had 20 more that might. And yeah, modern Star Trek under Alex Kurtzman still tries to do episodic stuff, but let's be real. No one's watching that garbage. Obviously, not every story fits the episodic mold. Some worlds need long-form storytelling. But now it feels like everything is serialized. One slow-moving plot, dragged out across multiple years, with increasingly long gaps between seasons. Problem 4. Movie scripts masquerading as TV. Then there's the trend of stretching what should have been a 2-hour movie into a 6-episode show. Marvel and Star Wars are frequent offenders here. You can always tell they had just enough material for a film, but decided to turn it into a miniseries anyway. The result? Episodes where nothing really happens, or characters get stuck doing filler busywork. It's lazy, and it kills momentum. Final thoughts. All of this is to say, I'm just getting burned out on TV. I don't have the time, energy, or patience for drawn-out 10-hour marathons that take years to resolve. Peacemaker Season 2 could be the greatest thing ever, and I'd still probably skip it just out of sheer fatigue. Same goes for House of the Dragon Season 3. I'm sure it'll be well made, but will I care enough to watch it when it finally lands? Even Stranger Things, one of the biggest shows of the decade, feels like it's limping toward the finish line. Do I care how it ends anymore? I don't know, but I have a feeling I'm not the only one. One thing's clear. The current model for making TV just isn't working anymore. Something needs to change, and soon.